Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let Me Tell You Why podcast. Jeremy Jacobowitz. I am Jeremy Jacobowitz, and today we have a really great episode. I am sharing all my tips and secrets and tricks and everything about how I create content for more than 1 million people every single day, every single week, every single second of my life, frankly. So we're going to get into that, the nitty gritty. And this was an episode that you guys suggested, so I'm super excited to do this one. Plus, a brand new taco shop, some brand new seasonal menu items for the spring and the summer, and a whole lot more. Plus, never ever forget, that is June. So we got a new code for jeremyjshop.com. If you use code June25, you get 12% off everything in the shop. Egg salad, sando, teas, Let Me Tell You Why, caps, Tuna King teas. We got brand new shorts I added in there, water bottles for the summer, tons of stuff. And if your order's over $75, you now get free shipping. And I just want to say also before we get started, thank you so much for liking, for subscribing, for listening, for following, for watching, for all those things. I really, really, really appreciate it. You know, the podcast is more of a passion project than anything. So if you're listening to this, like, that is, you are the top tier. Play with my hair. Look at my hair. God damn. You are a top tier fan, and I really appreciate it. And if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Click that little button. You can now, Spotify added all these new features too. Like, you could leave comments, and there's polls, and there's tagging things. There's lots of cool stuff if you're listening or watching Spotify. Spotify also gets a video. Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. And if you're watching here on YouTube, I'm so close to 50,000 followers. It's there. It's there. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share this podcast, leave a comment, do all those things so you keep watching, I can keep making, and even more people can keep finding it. All right, so I have not come up with the name for this concept yet, but this is the time for Jeremy's Soapbox. We're going to rant about something's been bothering me. And today we're going to talk about where food comes from and what food is called. Because this is something people comment on all my videos all the time. And frankly, it drives me fucking crazy. And it's this fight of, no, this food is this food is this food is this. And let me tell you something. As someone whose job it is to eat food around the world and to travel around the world and to eat as much as I can. And listen, there's more food that I haven't eaten absolutely than I have. The only difference between most dishes, the only difference is who prepares the food as to what it is then called. Because every nationality has a dumpling, everything has some type of pasta, everything has some type of egg dish. Everything, all food is very, very similar, especially if it comes from the same basic region, especially because remember, like, our view of borders, especially in Europe, you know, is only locked in over the past 50 years. But before that, it was changing. So what we deem as this country now was this country 50 years ago. So the only difference in what we call a dish is who made it and what they want to call it. And that is fucking it. I'll give you an example. When I was in Tokyo, I went to the Mexican restaurant where I had a lovely, lovely, lovely taco macase with the chef that is from Monterrey, Mexico. So yes, if you want to break down the dishes that he was serving, do you want to call it fusion? I don't know. It's certainly Mexican food. With, you know, he's in Japan, so he's going to use a little bit more local ingredients, local flavors, local thoughts in it. So is it like the 100% authentic Mexican food? No, maybe not. To call it fusion, though? Is it really fusion? No. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what I think, and it doesn't matter what you fucking think. It matters what the chef thinks. Whatever the chef wants to call the dish is what it is. And this is an insane fight that people have constantly on my videos about what food is what food is what food is what. Guys, it's all the same. And you yell at me. I don't make this shit up. And do you know how disrespectful it would be for me to go to a restaurant, eat food, have the chef describe it to me as what they want to describe it to me as, and then make a video with it being something else? That's fucking crazy. Now listen, have I gotten it wrong in the past too? Yeah. I went to a restaurant in Williamsburg where my bad, I did not do enough research. I called it an Indian fried chicken dish. The restaurant told me, actually, it is a Pakistani fried chicken dish. That was my bad. I corrected it in the video. I couldn't correct it in the VO, but I corrected it in the caption. I corrected it in videos moving forward. But like that, and again, they're right next to each other. truly the only difference. The reason why I thought it was Indian was because the names and flavors and ingredients were only food I've had in Indian food. But because the chef is Pakistani and wanted it to be Pakistani, then it's Pakistani. That's it. That is absolutely it. There's no discussion further than that. I don't care what you guys think. It's just not the way it is, and it's so disrespectful to the chefs, and it's such like a misunderstanding how the fucking world works, and I don't ever want to hear it again. Whatever the chef calls the food is what the food is. And you could give me some wild example of like, well, what if this? I don't fucking care. I could even disagree and be like, well, is it this? But it doesn't matter. The chef could be like, I'm preparing Mars food tonight, and you know what my video would be? Here I am eating at a fucking Mars restaurant. Although, bring back Mars 2112. That would be amazing. And that's the answer, and I don't want to fucking hear it ever again. Rant over. See, now wasn't that better? Now we get to go on and have fun because I got the bad stuff out of my system. Let's do some restaurant news. The Japanese bakery in the West Village from Nami Nori Team Postcard has a new seasonal menu from their new executive pastry chef, Natsume Eo. They are introducing a matcha basket cheesecake, azuki coconut buns, and exclusive for June in honor of Pride Month, a rainbow fruit santo. I went here right when they opened because they have an egg salad santo. They use bread that's like gluten-free. He gave me a whole story about why, I forget. So it's like, I would say it's not like traditional kombini style santos, but they are absolutely delicious. Their treats are great. Their coffee drinks are great. Nami Nori I fucking love. So I'm excited to try these new seasonal dishes. Just opened upstairs at the iconic La Esquina is Santo Taco, a brand new taqueria from one of the founders of Cosme. There are 5 tacos on the menu: a steak trompo with New York strip and sirloin and avocado salsa, pork carnitas with avocado salsa and tomato martajada salsa, chicken thigh with pineapple marinade, avocado salsa, and pickled red onions, carne asada with potatoes and avocado salsa, and mushrooms, which is a mix of shiitake and cremini with squash blossom. I've already seen this all over social media. It looks fantastic. We always need better tacos in New York City, so I'm down for that. For their 10th anniversary, King County Imperial is teaming up with some of the best chefs and restaurants in the city to collab on special dishes that will run on the menu for a few weeks at a time until the end of September. Here we go. Here's all of them. From June 18th to July 1st, you can get jerk duck fried rice from Chef JJ. July 9th to 22nd, Ruberosa has scallion pancake pizzas, which include red vodka, fresh mozz, and Italian sausage. The green is pesto, marinara, and fresh mozz. And the tie-dye gives you half and half. July 23rd to August 5th, Mark Forgione has a calamari smoked pork ragu with ginger scallion pesto. August 6th to 19th, George Mott's and Hamburger America has a fried onion cheeseburger dumpling. August 20th to September 1st, Moe's General has a sesame focaccia pork sandwich. This thing looks incredible. September 3rd to 16th, Emily Yoon from Lingo, love Emily, has a bone-in Shiho Koji tonkatsu. That sounds great. And finally, September 17th to September 30th, you can get a cannoli crumble of mango and honey from Setapani Bakery. So some great collabs all summer, Kings County Imperial. From the iconic Lobel's of New York Butcher Shop comes Lobel's Original, a new sandwich shop in Rockefeller Center. Some of the standouts include a bacon, egg, and cheese, a prime steak sandwich, roasted pork sandwich, broccoli rabe sandwich, a chopped veggie salad, and pesto pasta salad. These sandwiches look enormous and they look good. Also at Rockefeller Center, the Pebble Bar is going downstairs and outside for the summer, bringing a menu of seasonal cocktails and Italian bites right to the rink in the middle of Rockefeller Center. And finally, Mama Meze is an all-new Eastern Mediterranean restaurant in Nomad, making food all day in their wood-fired oven from Chef Einat Anami of Taim and Balabusta Acclaim. The menu is made to share, with some standouts being the Baharat spiced beef hummus, beet baba ganoush, crispy cauliflower, different skewers, a burger, which looks incredible, that has date Dijon caramelized onions and shifka aioli, and house-made za'atar bread to dip into all of the things. High on my list. Okay, let's talk about what you may have missed. Last week, videos that went up. We started the Korea journey in the content. So not only can you go to YouTube and you can find everything I ate this past trip in Seoul, Korea, 12 must-eat restaurants in Seoul. great bites there. God, I was editing all of it last week, like finished all those videos, and I was like, damn, oh, food in Korea is just good. If you want to see everything I've ever eaten in Korea, plus tips and tricks, plus where to stay, plus where to eat, plus where to drink, plus where to party, plus what to do, check out my Substack. 31 spots to eat, drink, party, stay, and more. The best eating experiences in the world are in Seoul, Korea, and that's all on Substack right now. I will leave a link to that in the description of this podcast, or if you're watching or listening to that. But the shorter video started rolling out too. So, never seen cornbread like this. A very literal interpretation of cornbread I had in Seoul, which was incredible. Just real thick honey toast, butter, mayonnaise, and actual corn for the cornbread. Unbelievable. Plus, an old school burger joint in Korea, quote unquote old school burger joint in Korea. It was like stepping into a time machine and eating an incredible burger, great fries, maybe the best onion rings I've ever had, all in Seoul, Korea. Those 2 videos are out everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you want. And if you want to see everything that I ate and did, Substack and YouTube as well. Plus, the coolest restaurant in New York City. I finally got to Bernie's. And yeah, it's the coolest restaurant in New York City. I don't want to spoil the whole thing. I ate some incredible food. Was it like the best technical dishes I've ever had in my entire life? No, but I absolutely loved being there. They gave me this big, giant beer in a frosty mug. Oh, the vibes are high. The staff is great. The food is way better than it needs to be. And it's just a place you just want to hang out, eat, and drink, and be with friends. And I absolutely loved it. All right, let's get to the main topic this week, and that is how I create content for my millions and millions of, not millions and millions, just 1 million plus followers every single week. And I'm going to sort of walk you through like from inception to the idea and all the way through to getting it onto your phones, what goes into it. Because this was suggested by one of you guys. I think it was a great suggestion because there's ideas in this that everyone can use. There's very jamming ideas that maybe are just for me, but they all work for me at least. So let's kind of start with where the concepts come from and how do I decide what to film? Because I think this is a big question too. I get a lot, especially from PR people or restaurant owners who are like, why don't you come to our restaurant? And so just so you guys know, what happens is I'm obviously always looking for new things. I'm pitch new things constantly, whether that's a PR person emailing me a press release or something, or DMing me or comment or texting me, an owner DMing me. They're constantly asking me to come in. And when usually the answer is, thank you, I'll let you know. And that is the truth. It goes onto a list. I basically have a folder saved on Instagram of every time a restaurant invites me in or whatever. So it's like, okay, invited in, here's 1 million restaurants. But then I'm always just looking, I'm seeing what looks good to me, what do I want, blah, blah, and then that's a separate folder of just what I'm discovering. And then when it comes time to I look at my week and I'm like, there's a mix of shoots that I set up because I need to film stuff and just I'm going to dinner for friends. So if it's dinner for friends, it's just we'll make a resi, we go in and I'll film my thing, whatever. If I'm really looking hey, I need to shoot a bunch this week, I'll go through my lists. And then it's not any more set up, I guess. It's still me just basically rolling in. But I'm going there not as a meal. I'm going there because I know I need content, which I guess is a little different than me going to dinner. And how do I decide what these places are? It kind of just depends. I always say it's about the story. Because I think the first thing you have to think about when you're making this video is, what's the hook? Why are people going to watch this video? Why do I want to make this video? So if the video is, I think about that before I go in there. Is it a particular dish that's really cool? Is there a story I want to tell? Sometimes there's a few things that I'm let me just go there and I can figure it out. But what is the hook? What is the reason I'm making this video, not someone else? I think that's why a lot of things I miss out on a lot of the hottest restaurants, sort of the newest restaurants, I guess, because if the story is, here's the newest, Greek restaurant in New York City. That's a story. There's your hook. If I'm not in there early enough, and now I'm on Instagram and TikTok and I've seen 100 other influencers make the video, here's the newest Greek restaurant in New York City, why am I making that video? What the fuck do I care? Now, yes, like I think people in general still wait for me to make that video, so it still means something, but I'm less motivated because I don't know why my video is unique. It's always my voice, it's always my video, it's always unique enough, but truly, why is it unique? So I skip out on a lot of those things because I don't want to run into restaurants. There's this like weird fascination accounts have, like, be the first at a restaurant. And I get it because, like, again, if you're first, you have a better, it's easier, I guess, to get that video to pop off. But at the same time, like, you're playing this game to rush in there and you're going to a restaurant that's not going to be as good as it is in a few weeks. So are you sacrificing a better experience just to get content? I don't really want to do that. Like, I would rather show off the restaurant being as good as it can, but that means then I'm waiting for the story to come to me. 'Cause if the story's not, this is new, what is the story? And I have to really think about that. And then I just kind of think about, like, well, what do I want this week? Like, for example, this week, and what I'll do too is, like, when I really have an idea for something beyond, like, oh, this is a restaurant I want to go to, like if it's a baker concept, I have an Excel sheet. My Excel sheet is broken down per month and in the stages of the video. So there's one tab that's just ideas, and then once it's actually going to be filmed, it goes on to, like, per month. So like June 2025, and then it's like date, name of restaurant, status of filming, status of editing, and then status of posting. Because I post so many places, what I realized what was happening was I make all these videos and then I would forget to post them, which is really, really bad. So this is the only way to actually, like, keep track of, like, what I filmed and when it's going up. But anyway, so when I find, like, okay, cool, like, here's the story I want to tell, here's what I want to eat this week, here's what makes sense. Like, the same way too, like, all right, maybe there's like 5 great chicken parm restaurants I want to eat at this week. I'm not eating 5 chicken parms. That would be a good roundup, but I think that roundup needs to be split up. So then I'll look at the schedule, like, what makes sense in my schedule of the week? What do I want to eat that week? What makes sense dietary stuff that week? What else do I have? Social obligations that week, and I kind of look a week or two ahead to be like, this makes sense for me to film this. So okay, now it is on the calendar. We're gonna go film it. Then what happens? So I film using 3 different things. If it is like a main video, if I'm not like at dinner at like a nice restaurant, I will have my Canon R5C here. It is a big boy. I film with the Canon 15-35mm lens. I have my Peak Design travel tripod. This is a heavy setup. This is a big setup. It's not always for every single situation, but if I can, I would film everything on this because I love the process of filming. I think that's the difference too when I talk to people and I talk to other creators. And this is what I beg when people tell me they want to do this full time and they're going to quit their job. I fucking beg them. Just do whatever you want. But what I tell them always is, I love food. I'm very passionate about food. Do you know what my actual passion is though? It's making videos. I worked in TV forever. My passion is creating content way more than it is food and restaurants. And, when people want to quit their jobs, I'm always like, but are you passionate about making videos or just food? Because if you're not passionate about being a video person, editing, shooting, filming, producing all this stuff, inevitably you're going to hate it. Inevitably you're going to get burnt out. Inevitably you're going to get bored. And I beg them, just eat at restaurants and be happy and like food. You know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to make this your full-time job if this isn't what you're supposed to be doing, but we're getting way off track anyway. So that's main thing. Love it. Big, heavy. The footage looks beautiful. Absolutely love it. If we're going a little smaller scale, maybe I just don't want to carry that much stuff. Maybe I'm at a restaurant that, like, I can't just have my giant camera there. That's when I have my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing is absolutely incredible. This is one of the best things I've ever purchased in my entire life. For a camera to be this small and get video quality that is that great is absolutely insane. And I go back and forth on, like, what lights I use right now. I'm using this little baby Amaranth thing. This actually has like a MagSafe, so it could attach it back to your phone too, but I'll just handhold it. Again, this thing is so tiny. The light is not only bright, but is a good color. That's what people don't realize a lot when they get lights. And they're like, ooh, this thing's bright, and I saw it on TikTok Shop or whatever. But if the color is a little off in any direction, it's going to look really weird. An iPhone, if you're shooting with an iPhone will try and correct for it a little bit, but It could look yellow, it could look too blue, it could look too green, it could look too purple. You want like a nice, like more natural light as much as you can. And this Amaranth thing is really, really great. DJI Pocket 3 is really, really great. What I love too is for both my DJI and my Canon, I use the DJI, here, I'll pull them out here, these wireless mics. And what's nice about this is not only does it have a little thing to plug into the camera, the big camera, the Canon, but these also wirelessly attach to my DJI Pocket 3. So full DJI. And what's nice is literally in my pocket, I could have like a full production setup, which is absolutely insane. And then also I film on my iPhone. Like iPhone, that's another thing I tell people too. It's like, you don't need all this camera stuff. Again, like I like this camera stuff because I love cameras and I film everything in log and I want to color everything and I'm very particular about it. Most people don't care. So if you don't care to learn all the stuff or want to do all the stuff, don't bother. And iPhones are incredible. So between those 3 cameras, I'll film everything. And then like you'll see like in my videos, like I try to use my environment for what video it is. So if I'm at a loud, noisy, dark, happening restaurant at dinner, it's dinner. I don't want to spend the whole time filming. Like I'm there with my friends. Like I don't want to ruin their experience. So I'll quickly get a little bit of B-roll, just quickly get a bite of me, whatever, and then I'll just VO the whole thing. If I'm there and it's quiet and I have my whole camera and it's like not a big deal, I'll talk more on camera. What I'll try and do too is in New York, it's not a big deal. When I'm traveling, what I'll do too is if I'm not talking on camera, right when I finish, I'll go outside and just try and get like my quick thoughts. Sometimes it goes into the videos and sometimes it doesn't, but it helps me create the videos because sometimes I'm making these videos, especially when I travel months later, and I truly just like forgot all my thoughts and feelings on that thing. So that is how I actually capture all the content. But then what happens? So when I get home, what I do is I have all these hard drives. I have 2 hard drives, like solid state SSDs connected to my computer. And I dump all the footage onto there, broken down by restaurant or what the video is. So we go to Bernie's, all the footage that I shot goes onto the hard drive, onto Bernie's, marked on the Excel, shot. And then, and I'll work, those are my 2 working hard drives. Like almost 99% of what I'm working on at the time is on those hard drives. They're connected to my computer. So just in case I have to go anywhere, travel anywhere, like they're easily accessible, they're with me. And then it comes time to edit. Sometimes edit is that day. Sometimes it's the next day. Sometimes it's literally a year and a half later when I get to the edit. But this is why it's very important to have systems so you don't lose anything or forget anything. So I edit everything into Premiere Pro. I have all the Adobe suites, Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere Pro for video. I like editing on my computer. I have a giant monitor in front of me, this giant Asus ProArt. It is made for editing to be like color accurate. It's very difficult for me to edit anywhere else. I have a Surface, Microsoft Surface, which I absolutely love. It has a touchscreen, it's foldable, it comes with me wherever I can, but I want to be sitting at my desk and editing. It just makes my life so much easier. And what I do first is I do things a little backwards. I ingest all the footage into Premiere Pro, into the project for that restaurant. I lay it on the timeline in order, because it's basically shot in order, but I lay it in the order of what it's going to be in the video. And then the first thing I do is color. That's usually everyone's last step. I like coloring first because one, it's just sort of like soothing and peaceful and a way for me to quickly go through the footage again. And coloring takes 2 seconds. Like, because I shoot everything in log, I drop a LUT onto it. So this is going to be real nerdy. Shooting in log basically gives you like a flat image profile. So think of like a raw photo, if you know what that is. All the data is in there. You just have to unlock it. And why you shoot in log is to give you higher dynamic range. And that is the range between the brightest spots and the darker spots. And it's a hard thing to capture. Like, see over my shoulder how it's like all blasted white. Like if I look, it's not. It's beautiful outside. But what the camera is trying to do is properly, evenly light my face and the backgrounds. But because it's so bright out there, it can't do that. And that's the dynamic range of what you're looking for. So the higher the dynamic range, the more you're able to see shadows and details in the shadows and the brightness. And by filming in log, you're able to get more detail in both of them. So that's the biggest advantage. 2, it gives you more details and colors. So if you want to edit colors in any which way, it gives you more flexibility there. So it's just more of like an artistic choice, I guess. Your footage isn't gonna look bad without it, but it gives you more flexibility to create it in your own way. Because if you don't, like I film on Canons, Canon basically will put their own color science profile thoughts into it. And, you know, it's pretty contrasty, it's pretty saturated. Is that too much for you? Like, if you want to have more control, shoot in log. And that's the most basic. So not necessary. But again, if you're like me and you love the process, and you want to do the process, do it. So anyway, bring into Premiere Pro, put the LUT on it, make, hopefully, tiny adjustments. Hopefully I shot it properly where I don't have to change that much. And then what I'll do is, because that allows me to kind of go through the footage also a little bit, I can kind of see what looks good, what shot I want, what's the B-roll, what's the shot of that food, what's the bite I want, great. And then if I'm talking, listen through me talking, clip what actually sounds good, or what I want to use, and now it's on the timeline like that. Then it's time to write my script. So, you know, if you watch my videos, they're all sort of the same. You get the tease at the top, what's the hook? You get a little intro into the restaurant, the story, the chef, whatever, and then you get what I ate and the thoughts of those dishes. So, yeah, I think the most important thing is the hook, and the hook I usually write last. Like, I really try and let's make the whole video, because also you don't want to tease something that's not in the video. So create the whole video. Like, what I'll do now is, when it comes down to the restaurant, like all that kind of information, like this is actually where AI comes in handy. I find that using AI is better than using Google for research. So I use Perplexity, and I'll type in like, hey, write a 20-second TikTok video about Bernie's. And I don't copy and paste that into my video. But what that generally does, and why I like Perplexity, is it gives me factual information and sources to that. So it'll say, Bernie's, you know, opens in Greenpoint and whatever, and is known for this, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Like very, very, very basic stuff, where it would have taken me time to go through a bunch of different articles about Bernie's just to pick that same information. And boom, it's there in front of me. So that's kind of where that comes from. And then any other thoughts I'm obviously able to add, or anything else I learned. That's not the only source, but that like kind of helps streamline those first little intro to it. And then going through the menu, make sure I have all the ingredients right, the dish names right, try and get all that stuff right. And then write the script. And that's it. Usually it depends what video it is. It's usually a pretty quick process. And then I record a VO into my computer. And then it's just time to put it all together. It's like a little puzzle. It's like, what makes sense here? What makes sense there? Blah, 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 blah. And like, honestly, like this kind of goes back to that idea of like, what I love out of it. Like, I get a rush out of every single step of the process of making videos. And that's why I love it. Like, I get a rush when I come up with the idea. I get a rush when I'm filming. When I'm putting those videos together, I get a whole other rush, which is just like insane. I love it when it's finally coming together. I just love it. And then I build all the text in Premiere Pro 2. It auto captions it, but I have to go through it manually always. It doesn't, the way I speak, it's never going to get 100%. So put that together. That's when I figure out what the tease is. What's at top? What's the text at the top? What's the first shot? What's that hook? Probably out of all that work, that's the most important step, is what are the first 3 seconds, because that is the only thing that's going to determine if people can watch a video or not, which is so beyond frustrating. But you have to take the time, you have to do that. Like, I'll come up with, I might have a few different ones too, and I'll make a couple different exports with different first 3 seconds, and then like maybe see how it goes. Like it depends. Like if I post on TikTok first and it doesn't do well, okay, maybe I'll shift it around and when I do on Instagram and vice versa. Always give yourself options. And then, yeah, and then you have the video. And then what I do is everything goes, final videos go on Google Drive, broken down by where that video is going to live. So TikTok has a folder, and they're all labeled Tick, Bernie's, into the TikTok folder. So I could search anything, find anything at any second. It's really, really, really critically important when you've been doing this as long as I have, is to have a system in place you could find content in 2 seconds. And then the final video also goes onto a larger hard drive that is attached to my computer, and then all the raw footage. So now I have those two solid state drives that are attached to my computer, but at some point those run out. They will run out, I promise you. So then what I do is I built a NAS system from Synology. I bought one of those, and that is basically like a separate computer you have somewhere in your house attached to your computer through your network, and then that just houses terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of storage. And it's really, really, really important because one, you don't ever want to lose footage, but two, I'm constantly going back and reusing stuff and finding reason to use stuff. So having that archived, and literally 10 years worth of footage is in a box under my TV. And then that's it. That is how I create my content from top to bottom. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Again, like, this system works for me. There is no perfect system. I think it's finding the workflow that works for you. But I think the biggest things are like, keep track of what you're filming from every step, from beginning to end. Actually be organized. This is the only thing in my life that I'm organized about and is critically important, or it's going to become overwhelming. So yeah, good luck out there, guys, making videos. Okay, so now what I'm into this week. On YouTube, I've been watching, this is across TikTok and Instagram too, Press Box Chronicles with Jeff Pearlman. I have been loving. So Jeff Pearlman, I didn't think I knew who he was before I discovered his TikTok, and now I've been watching all his YouTube videos. He is a sports writer for almost my entire childhood and adult life. And he has written some of the most like iconic sports stories over the past 35 years, 30 years, whatever it's been, and ingrained in the sports world in a way that I had no idea. Like, he was the one that wrote the John Rocker story. This is a very 90s kids thing, or 90s sports fan thing, and been involved in everything. The stories that he has to tell about whether he was involved or not is really, really interesting. Like, he calls it just like a cranky middle-aged white man. And that's sort of the jumping off point to his stories that he tells. But the stories are really incredible, whether it's about like how the Dallas Cowboys build a championship run, whether it's the John Rocker story, whether it's about the Brett Favre dick pic scandal. I just love the way he tells stories. I love his perspective on stories. I mean, obviously this is what he's doing for so long. He's so good at it. Stories are so interesting. And like, he was the one that wrote the book about the Lakers and then became the HBO show. Like, this dude has done it all. And I love his perspective, and I love the stories. The stories he tells are like always a little quirky, always a little from a different angle that no one else would have taken with it, and stories that no one else is really talking about right now. And I've been absolutely loving all of them. So check out Pressbox Chronicles with Jeff Pearlman on YouTube. Then also, I'm almost done playing Doom Dark Ages on the Xbox. Again, I love my Xbox. I love having Xbox Game Pass because that means the game is for free. Even though I pay a monthly fee for all these games, it's technically free. And I've been absolutely loving this. I played the last Doom game, and honestly, it was too difficult for me. Like, I couldn't get past the first level. I suck at video games, by the way. But I couldn't get past the first level. It was too frustrating for me. But they dialed the difficulty back a little bit and made you able also to fine-tune it so you could just play the way you want to play. And I've been loving it. Listen, if you know what Doom is, I hope you do. It's been around for generations at this point. It's a game where you kill devil alien stuff, basically. And that is this game now. There's a whole storyline which is kind of lost on me, frankly, but it is like, here's a bunch of gigantic, weird, cool weapons. Go kill a bunch of space hell people. demons from space. Go fucking murder them. But really fun. The play mechanics are really good. It's Dark Ages because it has this whole like Dark Ages, like medieval aesthetic, which is really cool, which plays out in the game worlds and the weapons and your shields and all that stuff. I've been having a blast. Again, the fact that you could fine-tune it, I really appreciate to make it worth your while. And yeah, just fun game. If you have Xbox, you should have Xbox Game Pass. And then if you do, it's free. So definitely download it, definitely play it, having a fucking blast. And I'm almost done with it. I never finish games, and I'm the one level away from finishing it. So that's how good it is. But thank you guys for watching, listening to this podcast. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you like and share this podcast with everybody. And I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks. See ya.